The UFC is leaving Chicago and heading about as far east as they possibly can before it wraps back around. UFC Shanghai is this weekend. UFC Shanghai has the earliest start time you're going to get for one of these fight nights. Obviously, time zone matters, but I am filming this early because if you prepare yourself for a Saturday morning fight card, you need to get this in early because waking up and getting your last minute research in on a Saturday is not a reality with a 5 a.m. start time. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC Shanghai fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and DraftKings Fantasy plays. But before we dive in, let me show you the website. I talk about the website a lot. A lot. I tell you, go to the website. We have the greatest offering in this space. A whole suite of tools and bets and picks for you. For anything you want to do. If I take a look at the DraftKings specific stuff, we have ownership projections, scoring projections, leverage scores, fighter pools, lineup optimizer, a slate sleuth. We have a tool called the Simulator. The Simulator simulates every fight on the card 100,000 times. And you get those simulations. You can get each individual metric along the way. All I did was click Run Simulator. It is taking all 12 fighters on this card and it is running them through 100,000 different simulations. It's bringing in striking stats and grappling stats, DraftKings information. It's bringing in all this historical information and running those simulations. And now I can select my fighters, see what the projections are for scoring and strikes and all of that. I can go place bets. I can build DraftKings fantasy lineups. We have an optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. You come in here, you click a few buttons, it'll spit out a lineup. It'll spit out 150 lineups. And if you've seen previous videos where I'm sharing tickets from the community, $20,000, $10,000, and you see where they write, I built this with the optimizer. And you want to come in here and you want to build your own lineup using the optimizer, but you don't know what the hell these numbers are and you're not Rain Man, it's okay. We have the industry first beginner mode. The beginner mode is going to ask you a series of logical questions instead of expecting you to know how to do all of this. Every single thing I just mentioned, 40 things I didn't mention, are all available right now. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10. It's $10. If you're here for bets, $10. If you're here for DraftKings, $10. FanDuel, $10. Prize Picks, $10. All of it, one single package. No upsell, no cross-sell. $10, all of it for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and dive into this fight card. As I mentioned, super early fight card. This is incredibly early. So I'm filming early. And let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start this card with the latest edition. We have Uran Satybaldiev, and he is taking on Diyar Nurgozhay. This is a fight that was just added to the card. We just got odds yesterday, and I was surprised at these odds because I broke down this fight blind. And I try to break down most fights with no odds whatsoever. And then when I'm done breaking it down, I'll look at the odds and see if I was right or wrong. In this case, there was nothing to look at. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I picked the dog here. We have Uran Satybaldiev, $8,700. He's the favorite, but nothing too dramatic. Uran is the biggest dude at Team Alpha Male. That's a gym that made their name off of Uriah Faber and a bunch of other wrestlers. Obviously, that's not what we have here. What we have is a big dude. He is a light heavyweight despite making his UFC debut at heavyweight. He'll strike, he'll grapple, he'll do all of the things. He does seem pretty hittable, and when things start coming his way is when he shoots his takedowns. He's not great at anything, but as far as light heavyweights are concerned, he's a sizable guy that will take some chances moving forward, bombing away. And as I mentioned, he can wrestle as well. This is his actual weight class, not his heavyweight when he came in for his debut. Then we have Diyar. He's taking on Diyar Nurgozhay. This is a guy that I hate. I hate him. Mostly because of his performance against Brinson Ribeiro. He came in here and shit the bed. He diarrheaed all over everybody's bed. Because on the Contender Series, he looked like a world beater. Then they give him a winnable matchup against Brinson Ribeiro. And then he's getting tagged on the feet, shoots a takedown, and what was it, a Kimura? It's like, what the fuck? What? $8,900 in that fight. Getting slapped around on the feet, shot a takedown, got subbed. The reality, though, is I do think he's good. Maybe that was octagon jitters. Maybe that was, flying. Like, I don't know what the circumstances were there, but he is good. I think he's the better fighter of the two. I've seen him have powerful strikes. I've seen him have good offensive wrestling. I've seen him get bitched by Brinson Ribeiro. That's not fucking great. But I do think Diyar's going to win this fight. As far as DraftKings is concerned, maybe a little bit of exposure. Whoever wins this fight probably is either going to win by finish or it's going to be the sloppiest slug fight any of us have ever seen. Period. End of story. I'm going to go Diyar here, but let's keep in mind, I watched his last fight live. I took notes while watching live. My notes literally said, hittable, loser, bum. So if he gets smoked on the feet, going forward, let's only trust my notes and nothing after the fact. Then we have Su Young-yu taking on Xiao Long. Su Young-yu is a very good fighter. I like Su Young-yu here. I do think he wins. I'm a little bit surprised at how close this line is because it feels like Su Young-yu is just going to kind of run away with this. He is a wrestler. He'll move forward. He'll shoot takedowns. He's not going to strike long enough to do anything meaningful, right? He's going to strike enough to throw a jab out there, to stay in your face a little bit, get you thinking about that, boom, shoot a takedown. I've mentioned in the past, he will even lower his level, tap your knee, and then stand back up just to let you know, hey, if I wanted to get there, I could. Non-stop wrestler. Takedown defense is pretty solid, but not a ton of people are shooting takedowns on him. He's a good grappler. He's constantly working for a position. If he gets you to the ground, he's going to work to side control, going to work to mount. He's always looking to work his way forward. He's coming off that win over AJ Cunningham, where the striking also looked good. And he's made improvements on both sides of that house. He is taking on Xiao Long. Xiao Long is a good fighter as well. He is also a grappler. Xiao Long's going to come forward. He's not particularly dangerous, but he's going to come forward. He's got a wealth of experience with 36 fights, and he's going to look to get things to the ground. The difference between him and Su Young-yu will get the takedowns, maintain the position, and work his way forward. Xiao Long will get the takedowns and immediately start chasing a submission. He doesn't find a lot of them, but what ends up happening is he gives you openings, and people stand up on him, and they roll off, and they fall down. And all of a sudden, he's averaging 4 takedowns per fight because people are standing up on him. He can struggle with people who move forward and stay in his face. So we have 2 grapplers. I'm going to pick Yu. I think Yu wins this fight. I think he's okay for DraftKings Fantasy. But anytime you get 2 grapplers, you might get one that is all in on the grappling and you're going to get the fight you expected. Or you get both who don't really want to engage in the grappling. So then you end up with just a sloppy-ass striking match between 2 guys who are better grapplers. If we end up with a striking match, I think Yu is the better striker. If we end up in a grappling match, I think Yu is the better grappler. So Yu's going to be the pick. I'll probably have him in my lineup. And I think we're pretty safe in that regard. Then we have Yizha taking on Westin Wilson. Listen, look at this salary. Let's look at his salary and look at his record. Yizha, a loss in his first fight, a loss in his second fight in the UFC, winless. Winless in the UFC. And his salary, $9,900. Those are Amanda Nunes versus your sister's numbers. What the fuck? I get Westin Wilson sucks, but this is crazy. I'm not putting Yizha in a lineup, not at these prices, but let me break him down. He is a powerful grappler. He will use kicks to manage range. He'll work in close. He'll get his hands on you. He'll drag you to the ground. He is strong. He does a good job elevating. If he gets to your legs, he will pick you up clean. If you look at the stats, he's averaging about 4 takedowns per fight, but that's because he's looking for submissions. He's literally falling off the top of people, and people are working their way out because instead of maintaining like what Khamzat did at 319 and just staying safe, he'll chase his submission, and people can scramble out. So he's a good grappler. He gets in your face. He hasn't had success at this level yet. He doesn't quite suck, but he's unproven, and at this price point, it's insane. You know who does have a win at this level? Fucking your favorite Geek Squad employee, Westin Wilson. This guy has a win in the UFC, and he's a $6,300 underdog. He did just beat Sergei, who might be the worst fighter we've ever seen. So it's really, this is just a smorgasbord of shit. I'm going to praise Westin for a little bit here and then pick against him. What I will say is he's crazy long. He uses his length really, really well. He can wrap up submissions on the ground. This guy's arms, his legs, he can do all the long guy stuff. Find the triangle, throw in an anaconda. He's very long, and he uses that length incredibly well, especially at this weight class. I will also give him credit for his losses. Oh, you lost to 2 killers on short notice, I believe. Oh, Joe Anderson Brito. Yeah, that's a solid loss. Jean Silva. Oh, okay. That guy's headlining Noche UFC. Like, these are good losses. Then he finally fought a bum, and he smoked a bum. Now he's in a situation where he's not fighting a bum. He's not fighting a killer. It's middle of the road. I'm not going to touch this fight. I do think Yizha can probably win here, But they're both BJJ nerds. They are both BJJ nerds. I'm going to pick Yizha just because of how ridiculously, insanely tough he is. So even if Westin has some success, I think Yizha will avoid the submissions. I don't think he'll get finished. And I have seen Westin get finished twice with my own eyes. Granted, against very good opponents, but I've seen it happen. So Yizha is going to be the pick. I'm not touching shit. I'm not touching shit. This price is crazy. And honestly, if you want to go back to the website and you're using the optimizer to chase a $100,000 payout, why don't you mess with these exposure numbers a little bit? Lower a little bit on the Yizha, throw a couple, crank it up a little on Westin Wilson because it's not outrageous, and you can do the exposure numbers here, max, minimum. So minimum will force no matter what, throw him in your lineup. Max is like, you could have him in all your lineups, or let's just make sure he's only in X%. Westin Wilson could absolutely win this fight. I'm not going to play that game, but Yizha is not that price tag. I'll tell you that right now. Then we have Michel Pereira taking on Kyle Daukaus. Michel Pereira has earned his price point. We've seen him beat the shit out of people. $9,200 for a guy that could absolutely smoke somebody. I've seen it happen with my own eyes. He'll probably be in my lineup. Michel Pereira, as we all know, capoeira fighter. He's fun. He's exciting. He can do flips and swirls. He's got heavy hands. He's got wrestling. When he is the hammer, when he's dictating what's going on, he will beat the brakes off you. We've seen it. What he did to Pereira was crazy. What he did to Oleksiejczuk was crazy. Smoked Petrosky. Like these three fights back to back to back were like, oh my God. If you're forgetting what happened in the Oleksiejczuk fight, the beating he put on that dude was insane. Michel Pereira can do all that stuff. He also, if things get a little tough, quits. Doesn't full quit, but Anthony Hernandez broke him. Quality loss. We just saw how good Anthony Hernandez is. This loss, the Abus Magomedov loss, Michel Pereira did nothing. He stood there, staring contest, did nothing. That is concerning because that was out of character. But let's assume his marital issues and all that stuff is the past. And now he's back to his old normal self. And he doesn't even need to be fully back. If you give him 50% back, he wins his fight. He's taking on Kyle Daukaus. You're going to see a gap here. Oh, he last fought in 2022? No, he's been on the regional scene, beating up part-time Home Depot workers. Like, he's beating up regular people who have regular lives and fight on the side. That's the difference between regional MMA and the UFC. And a lot of people in the UFC also have a second career because unless you're doing really, really well, it doesn't pay enough for you only to be a fighter. But the point I'm making here is Kyle Daukaus, while he did have a couple of wins in the UFC, Dustin Stoltzfus, Jamie Pickett, he had to go back to the regional scene. He got his wins, but if you run through their records, there's no name of note. Nobody very, very good. Kyle Daukaus is long. He's lean. He's a pretty big guy for this weight class. He's more of a grappler than he is a striker. He'll hang in the striking a little bit, but he can get hit. He can be a little bit chinny. His 25% takedown offense isn't really going to help him. I think Michel Pereira absolutely runs through Kyle Daukaus. He can take Kyle down. He can knock him on the feet. He can do whatever he wants here. So Michel Pereira is going to be the pick. A short notice returning Kyle Daukaus isn't exactly going to do it for me. Then we have Rongzhu. Rongzhu taking on Austin Hubbard. People are loving Rongzhu here. I'm about to tell you this seems like a kind of a close fight, and not because Rongzhu sucks, but because I'm going to give Austin Hubbard some credit. I think Austin Hubbard's pretty good. And people are like, absolutely not. With 100% certainty, Rongzhu's going to win this fight. So let's talk about it. We got Rongzhu. Good striker. Picks his shots pretty well. He's got solid power. He likes to march forward. He likes to dictate the pace. If he's backing up, if he's reacting, he can end up a little bit behind. He averages about 2 takedowns per fight. 62% takedown accuracy. 84% takedown defense. So overall, pretty well-rounded dude. He did just sneak out a decision against Cody Steele where you can't see Cody's strikes, but he tripled them. He tripled his strikes. Rongzhu's good. He's well-rounded. He doesn't suck. My only case to make here, though, is that Austin Hubbard also doesn't suck. Austin Hubbard's a decent fighter. He's a gritty guy. He's decent everywhere. He's got a ton of heart. He'll move forward. He'll grind. He is willing to strike. He's been a grappler as of late. You can see 2 takedowns that last fight. Took down Figlak 3 times. Good everywhere. Great nowhere. He can be taken down, but he does have a good get-up game if he is taken down. He's coming up that close loss to Markel Medeiros, where you can see here he was a solid underdog, and a lot of people think he got robbed in that fight. This feels wide. This feels too wide. I'm going to pick Rongzhu. I think Rongzhu can win because they're both well-rounded, But Rongzhu might just be a little bit better in a couple of places. Austin Hubbard is insanely durable. He's tough. He moves forward. He stays in your face. I'm going to give Austin Hubbard some credit here. The pick is going to be Rongzhu. I don't love the pricing, though. I don't love spending, what is he again? $9,100 because I don't think he's going to finish Austin Hubbard. So you might come out of pocket $9,100 here in your lineup, and he's going to score 75 points in a close decision win. So I'm not going to throw him in a lineup. I'm going to pick him as far as straight picks are concerned. Austin Hubbard might be a decent dog there, especially if he gets his wrestling going. Then we have Charles Johnson taking on Loner Kavanagh. I like Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's a friend of the show. So we're going to be very careful doing this breakdown. Loner Kavanagh is fast as shit, a very good striker. He is lightning fast. I can't emphasize enough how fast he is because his speed, his accuracy are just absolutely lighting people up. And he's not just a striker. He can grapple as well. You can see the 4 takedowns here in his last fight against Felipe Dos Santos. And that's because Felipe tagged him. And he's like, I don't like this. Let me shoot some takedowns. So then he's shooting his takedowns and he started grappling. So now we have a guy who's fast and accurate in the striking, who can shoot takedowns, grind on top. His ground and pound is incredible. He's a very busy guy. He's active on top. He's busy on his feet. He can shoot takedowns. Like, he's good everywhere. Loner Kavanagh is genuinely good. He beats Jose Ochoa. He steps up on short notice. Felipe Dos Santos isn't exactly a world beater. So he is fighting the best, or at least the most accomplished fighter he's fought so far in Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson is good. He's good. Charles Johnson has very, very fast, accurate striking. Charles Johnson has good volume, great footwork, high fight IQ. He doesn't really put himself into harm's way. He'll stay on the outside. He'll touch, go. The issue with Charles Johnson is sometimes he will take too long to find a rhythm. Even in his last fight, the loss to Temerov. That loss to Temerov is because he just took too long to get going. He started to take over late, but he took too long to get going. Where Temerov didn't give a shit. He moved forward. He was bombing away, staying in Charles' face. So for Charles Johnson to win this fight, he needs to get going early. Get in his face. Use your speed. Work in, work out. Because if you're getting him backing up, then he might not transition to the wrestling as quickly, or he's shooting off his back foot. I do think Loner Kavanagh is going to win this fight. I think he's just too well-rounded. And obviously, Charles is he's well-rounded as well. Look at the wins that he's put together. Azat Maxim was undefeated at the time. Hadley's a decent win. He knocked out Van, who's fighting for a title. Sumudaerji doesn't suck. These are good wins for Charles Johnson. He's had sort of a tough slate. Makayev, just nonstop wrestler. Ode Osborne, that was fun back and forth. Cody Durden, nonstop wrestler. Estevan, nonstop. Like, he's been matched up against a lot of nonstop wrestlers. He's finally going to be fighting a couple people in a row with some decent striking. I do think Loner's going to be able to pull it out because he can transition to the wrestling if he needs to. But this might be a pretty close fight, and I don't see Loner finishing Charles. I mean, Charles is not a guy. If you go back to the Azat Maxim fight, he was dropped. He was in a bad way. He sucked it up. Then all of a sudden, he's dropping, almost finishing Azat. So Charles is tough. He's mobile. He's good. He's experienced. I don't see a finish here. I'm going to pick Loner Kavanagh, but I'm not going to throw him in my lineup at that price point because I don't see him covering that unless he goes all in on the wrestling, in which then he will find that salary. Then we have Gage Young. Gage Young is taking on Maheshate. This is another interesting fight where we have two guys that we've seen fight, but I don't have enough data here to establish, is Gage Young a UFC level guy? He showed up on short notice, fought Evan Elder. He lost to Evan, but Evan is very, very good. And I mentioned short notice and a UFC debut. So a lot of circumstances working against him. In that fight, he moved forward, but he was getting hit a ton. He was just way too hittable. Gage Young's a pretty well-rounded prospect. He's got solid technical striking, decent wrestling if his striking isn't getting done what he needs to get done. When he shoots, he does a really good job of cutting an angle, reshooting if he needs to. He's fun. He'll get after it. Very, very, very hittable. And as I mentioned, that short notice UFC debut loss is a hard thing to look at and be like, well, he's not really at this level yet. And on the other side, we have Maheshate. We've seen him win fights at this level, but there's caveats. He catches Steve Garcia, which Steve's on an all-time streak right now. He beats Gabriel Benitez, but they were just kicking each other in the dick that whole fight. His losses are okay. Nicholas Mata, it's a weird spot. And this pricing is perfect. 50-50 fight. Maheshate is a fun striker. He can hang in a firefight. He can dance on the outside. He's got some technical kickboxing. He'll mix in some traditional martial arts techniques with like just spinning, flashy stuff. If you can stay in his face and pressure him forward, you could have some success. But I've seen him win. I've seen him win at this level. I've seen him have some success at this level. I hate breaking down fights like this because it is just so razor freaking thin. This line is yo-yoing. Maheshate is the favorite. Then he's a dog. Then he's a favorite. Then he's a dog. I think Gage is probably the better fighter overall. But without seeing those wins in the octagon and without him having that success at this level yet, Maheshate fighting at home, I think he could win this fight. I'm going to pick Maheshate here. You're probably going to need 50-50 exposure. Because if Gage wins, that means it's high volume, good pressure. If Maheshate wins, high volume, good pressure. These guys are going to get after it. I think it's a split down the middle. So again, if you're using the optimizer, if you're using the simulator, I would definitely have exposure to both of them. This price point, statistically speaking, the $8,000, $8,200 price point, is in more optimal lineups than any other price point. So I would 50-50 the exposure here. It's a 50-50 fight, and whoever wins probably scores pretty well just with high volume. Then we have a UFC newcomer with a name that I'm going to absolutely slaughter. We have Taiyilake Nueraji. That's not it. That's not it. If you know how to pronounce it, throw it in the comment phonetically. Write it out phonetically, so I can read it. I mean, that's not how you pronounce the name. This dude is an exciting addition to the UFC roster. He is fun as hell. He's a fun striker. He's got that interesting style where he's part old school in his stance and then part new school, just raw, uncontrolled aggression. The example I use in my quick pick video is that if Wonder Boy and Trevor Peek had an Asian baby, this is who you get. He is exciting. He's fun. He's wildly composed for a guy that's putting people out. He'll fight out of the pocket. He'll fight in the pocket. I absolutely love watching this guy. His defense on the takedown side of things can be questioned, but he's not going to need it here because he's fighting a bar brawler. Kiefer Crosbie is a bar brawler. He's tough as shit. He's got power in his hands. He'll get after it, but skill-wise, technique-wise, it's not pretty. He's not dancing around. He's not using footwork to touch people up. He's bar brawling. And a bar brawler type fight, just slugging it out, isn't going to win in this matchup because Nueraji is just too fast, too clever, too quick, too creative, too fun for Kiefer to come forward and just start swinging like this. So not only am I picking Nueraji, I'm going to be putting him in my lineup as well. I think he can finish Kiefer. Kiefer's been subbed in 2 fights. He's got a decent chin. He'll come swinging. Nueraji can do a whole lot, and I think he showcases here. I think he's a great addition to the UFC roster. Then we have Sumudaerji taking on Kevin Borjas. Sumudaerji is a good fighter. I just talked about him in this Charles Johnson breakdown. He is a good fighter. He's a fast striker. He's got good accuracy, solid volume. There's not a lot of power, but because he is so fast, he's got such good movement and well-timed shots, he can find a stoppage here or there. It's been a little while. We got to go back to 2020, but Sumudaerji is a good fighter. Great in and out style. He can decision most people just with the volume and with the accuracy and the movement. He is coming off this win over Mitch Raposo, which broke a 3-fight skid. He's taking on Kevin Borjas. This dude is not Russian, and I cannot read his name without doing it in a Russian accent, so you're going to bear with me. He's a clean striker. He works in combinations well. He uses everything from straight strikes to low leg kicks. He does all of it while plodding forward. He can grapple if he needs to, but more often than not, he's actually letting people stand up. If he drops you, or if you engage in a grappling match and he ends up on top, he will stand up. Go ahead. No, I'd rather hang out with you up here. For the most part, he is a striker with very good combinations. He's got good power. Takedown defense is middle of the road. It's not amazing. It's not dog shit. He's coming off the decision win over Ronaldo Rodriguez, where he was landing big, clean, heavy shots, and I'm picking him here as a dog. I think $7,700 in your lineup is tricky, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because if we look at this last fight, it was the exact same situation. He was an underdog against a pretty tough guy. He was $7,700 in salary and he scored 73 points. He didn't quite cover his salary there, but I do think Kevin can win this fight. I think he's the better overall striker. I think he's the more dangerous of the two. So we're going Kevin. Kevin's going to be in my lineup. We'll have some exposure to him. And I think he's a good dog play there. Then we have the most controversial fight on this card. And the only reason it's controversial is you guys absolutely hate my pick. The overwhelming theme in the comments of my quick picks video is love all the picks, hate the Waldo pick. You guys love Sergei Pavlovich here. And if you love Sergei Pavlovich here, then you need him at $8,900 because when he wins, it's by knockout. Let's ignore the Rosenstruck win, 85 points. Let's ignore that. 114 when he knocked out Curtis Blades, 144 when he knocked out Tai Tuivasa, 131 when he knocks out Derek Lewis. Here's the problem. When he fights people with athleticism and he fights people with real technique, like Volkov, loses because he just got jabbed to shit. Tom Aspinall cracked him. If we look at these wins, and we're going to ignore the Abubu Karimov and all that bullshit. Let's just stick with these wins. Derek Lewis, we know Derek Lewis. He either lands clean or doesn't. Tai Tuivasa can be a technical striker, but he's also a bit careless, and that dude is pushing 590 pounds right now. And Curtis Blades didn't shoot a takedown in time. Ate a big one. And I understand Sergei Pavlovich, just clean boxing. You're not going to watch him throw any kicks. Clean boxing, he's fast, and he is obviously insanely powerful. I used to be able to say we've never seen him shoot a takedown, but he shot 2 takedowns in the Rosenstruck fight. That tells you how that was going. He felt the pressure. He shot some takedowns to lock it in. This is going to be a different fight, though. Like, you guys hate this pick. I'm going to pick Waldo. You hate the pick, and I don't fully understand. Look at his record. He has 1 loss in the UFC against Rogério de Lima. And obviously, some of these wins aren't amazing. Chase Sherman, Jared Van Daren, neither one of them are still employed. Bresky, Andrei Arlovsky, Robelis Despain, Ryan Spann, Sergei Spivak. Those are good wins. He's an athletic guy. He'll kick, he'll punch, he'll wrestle, he'll defend takedowns. He can do everything, and he's wildly athletic. He's not the big, like, boom. He's not the big one-punch knockout guy, but he is athletic. He is tough. The cardio's there. He's deceivingly big. He's got big boy legs. And he can wrestle if he needs to. I think Waldo Cortes-Acosta wins this fight. I've got a bet on him on the other side of the house. And on this side of the house in DraftKings Fantasy, some exposure for sure at $7,300. You guys despise that breakdown. This breakdown should be pretty straightforward though, right? Aljamain Sterling's going to win this fight. Former world champion at 135. He is now up at 145. Not the greatest striker in the world, not the greatest grappler in the world, but he puts it all together really, really well. High fight IQ kind of guy. Well-trained, always in phenomenal condition. He'll move forward. He'll shoot his takedowns. He's got that weird in-and-out style. Aljamain Sterling is a guy that people hated when he was champ. Talked about the caveats. Oh, it was the illegal knee, or he fought TJ with a broken shoulder. And then now that he's no longer the bantamweight champion of the world and he's up here at featherweight, all of a sudden he is getting a little more respect. This Movsar Evloev fight, yes, was a loss. He scored 63 points in a loss against an undefeated guy who probably should be fighting for a title. And that's because he had 6 takedowns and 2 reversals against a Russian wrestler that everybody thought was going to run through Aljo. All of a sudden, at 145 pounds, Aljamain Sterling's looking like something special. He's taking on Brian Ortega, and I know Brian Ortega is a giant fan favorite, and I get it. He's got chill vibes. He's got good jiu-jitsu. At one point in time, had a hot-ass girlfriend. I get it. But he is unbelievably hittable, and he has not evolved one lick. He is the exact same fighter he is now that he was a few years ago. Nothing's changed. I've seen Aljamain change. The wrestling we saw in the Movsar fight was not there. That is new. He is that good now. His wrestling wasn't that good 3-4 years ago. Brian Ortega is exactly the same. And I picked Brian Ortega to beat Yair Rodriguez. I watched this first fight in 2022. I said, listen, Brian was having some success. And then he blew out his shoulder, whatever the hell it was. I'm going to pick him. And then in this fight, February 2024, he gets the piss beat out of him, survives, and then takes over because Yair deathgassed. The Diego Lopez fight, he was 99% knocked out for the first 10 minutes of that fight, but survives. He's insanely durable. He's insanely tough. Aljamain Sterling is not the greatest striker in the world. He's not going to Diego Lopez him or drop him. What he will do, though, is just out-wrestle, out-grapple him. Brian's got very good jiu-jitsu. So does Aljo. Aljo's not going to get subbed here. I think he dominates a grappling match, and because of that, I think he scores really well. So Aljo will be in my lineup. Main event, you got to go Ming Yang. You have to. This is a showcase fight. Let's take the biggest Chinese guy we have, who has a head built out of fire hydrant material, and we'll have him fight the chinniest guy in the roster. And then he'll win, and people will love him, and we'll have all these new Chinese fans. That's the playbook. I just gave it to you. $9,400. Not only does this dude have insane power, 3 knockout wins in a row, first round knockout wins in a row, he's a grappler. He's got good takedowns, great top control. He will finish you on the ground. We haven't need to see that here because his hands have been so good. And yeah, he didn't fight Murderer's Row, a 200-year-old Anthony Smith, Brinson Hibero, Ozzy Diaz, who's a middleweight. This is not Murderer's Row. But what it is a clear indication of power. And that's all you need to beat Johnny Walker. That's it. A heavy sneeze knocks out Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker at one point in time was fun, creative, flying knees, spinning attacks. This dude was so fun to watch. And because he was so crazy and unhinged and flying all over the place and doing all sorts of craziness, because of that, he was able to have success and find wins. He's powerful offensively. He's very creative. He's so unorthodox. But then he goes to Ireland to train in friggin' SBG, where Conor McGregor's from. And they're like, I was going to do an Irish accent. That was nowhere. It didn't start off right, so we're not going to finish it. They tried to make him a technical murder, like normal, work your way forward, 1-2 kind of striker, and that's not who he is. A great coach will take you for you, clean some things up, but let you have your style, what makes you unique. You get some try-hard coach that got lucky as fuck with Conor McGregor, and all he's going to do is try to form something that isn't there and take away your best assets. And that's what they did. They took Johnny Walker, who is wildly athletic, flying through the air, big, strong, powerful, and they tried to make him a technical fighter. He's not a technical fighter, which is why he keeps getting fucking slept, because he's fighting like this instead of all the crazy shit. So Johnny Walker's going to come out. He's probably going to get knocked out. We're going to have Jing Yang Mang or Ming Yang Zhang. And I'm sorry. It's a cultural difference with the surname and the first name. Zhang is going to win this fight. Zhang will be in my lineup. Obviously, Johnny Walker's still Johnny Walker. Some crazy shit could happen, but I just don't see it. I mean, what are we doing? He shouldn't be. He's not main event caliber. He also said he was going to heavyweight. That didn't happen. I don't know if that would improve his chin. Like, I don't know if his deal is I cut so much weight. I mean, he's 6'6", but Zhang's going to be in the lineup. We're going with Zhang. Guys, check out the freaking website. It is by far, if you care about DraftKings Fantasy, it's only $10. It's the best offer on the planet. You're going to get your ownership projections, which are phenomenal. You're going to get an optimizer. You're going to get a fight simulator. You're going to get a cheat sheet, which has all the projections in it, and if you should be putting people in GPPs or cash games. That alone is worth way more than $10. The other fight simulator in the industry, SaberSim, that's $300. $300. If you go to a DFS company, if you go find yourself playing that game, like at Roto Grinders, $60 a month only for MMA. And they don't have a simulator. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's $10. The optimizer, the simulator, the bets, the picks, the artificial intelligence, every other tool we have. $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top.